because you have several restaurants and bars up and down, well, in Cornwall and London mostly, I think.
Yeah, and recruitment's been so tough. I mean, we've obviously had the double dip with with last July and then closed down again.
Yes.
I think it is masking a lot of the problems with Brexit, with the European restaurant staff that would come over. But just some numbers. My friend's about to open a restaurant in 3 weeks. He's got one member of staff for a restaurant that's going to probably have about 40 on his book.
Really?
The local recruitment agency normally has 900 chefs on their books. They said they've got 20. So it's a huge issue. And for us as a company, we've got 60 adverts out there at the moment, but we're not expecting to fill them anytime soon. And to be perfectly honest with you, it is the large majority is going to be the seasonal workers that would come from Europe. It's just They used to come all the time. And they were really reliable. They would come when we were really busy, and then they would go. It was they enjoyed the work. They were great people to work with, and I miss them. I really miss them.
I'm sure you do. So there's two issues there. You've introduced the second issue, which is not you ringing up people you were expecting to come back and them saying, actually, no, not this time, or no, we've moved on. But freedom of movement, obviously, there's a clue in the flipping title, isn't there? And what intrigues me, I like to think that I had most angles of Brexit benefits covered, is that we talked a lot about fruit pickers, but we didn't talk that much about the hospitality sector, I don't think.
No, and to be honest with you, James, so many of our managers are from what you'd call the countries in Europe that people would have always said were taking our jobs, Poland and
Eastern
Europe.
European countries.
Yeah, but they are by far and away our management teams now, who that generation. They worked their way up, they wanted to be trained, they wanted to learn, they were the first people to a wine tasting or a food tasting.
Yes.
And that's not to say that the British workers weren't, but it was just very stark to us. And now they're all our managers. And unfortunately, they used to have friends and family that would come over as well, but they just don't.
It's a mentality and it's a career, as opposed to, as Dave has alluded to, something that some people here still see as a stopgap that is undertaken by students. I remember when I spent a lot of time in Greece, and quite a few of the kids I knocked about with were doing hotel management and catering courses, and there was a college in Switzerland that was considered to be like the Harvard of the caterer, and it's not a very British tradition, is it, to see service as a career rather than a stopgap, and that might be part of the problem, because I mean, you might not want to answer this question, but is it about the wages? I mean, if you could afford to stick a few quid on everybody's hourly rate, would the problem disappear overnight?
Well, I think there's definitely a debate to be had there about wages and tips, and the industry's doing that. And I think obviously calling us low-skilled workers, the media calling us certain aspects of the media.
It's not the media; it's Priti Patel, mate.